All right, hey everybody, back with another news feed here for you. This one I found super interesting. Okay, this was an incredible article, Auto Evolution. This thing was amazing, and we're going to spend a few minutes on it. We may not even, if this goes long enough, I might not even add another piece to this. But this is just, there's so much to unpack in here that's pretty impressive. This is inside the Ford plant that builds the Ranger. The truck goes through a simulated storm. Grabbed my attention, so I started reading it. And then we're going to go through the article, then some of the pictures, because there's some pretty neat stuff in here, though. Interesting points, though. Listen to this carefully, because there's a lot of takeaway. The Ford Ranger has sold in more than 180 markets around the world. Models roll off the production line in 5 facilities. 2 of them are in Thailand. 1 is in South Africa. Another one in Argentina. And the largest one is here in Michigan. Okay. One Ford Ranger rolls off the production line every 2 minutes at just the one plant in Silverton Assembly Plant in South Africa. And at the Ford Thailand manufacturing plant in Thailand. So between these plants, every 2 minutes there's one that rolls off the line here. According to Farley CEO, Ford CEO Jim Farley, a blue oval, meaning any of the pickup trucks, the F-Series, the Rangers, any of that stuff, rolls off the production line every 33 seconds worldwide. Okay, let that sink in. Every 33 seconds. Basically every 30 seconds, an F-Series truck, a Ford truck is built. Every 30 seconds, boom, it pops off, and one is ready to go be sent to a dealer. Boom, it pops off, it goes through there and ready to send to a dealer. Every 33 seconds. That's pretty crazy when you do that math and put that together. Almost 600 robots assist the human workers on the chassis line. Just a chassis line. Each chassis takes around 3 hours to build. Overhead conveyors used extensively along the assembly line. They help workers install components under the vehicle. Several tools are used to aid them during the assembly process. For instance, pneumatic manipulators move the vehicle doors around, put them in place, tighten attaching bolts with electric wrenches. Everything is automated today, okay? In the automotive industry, even the torque wrenches, even the guns, even the screw guns, they're all automated tools that basically do this. Now, people may move them, but they control the torque. They control everything that's happening. There's no, this stuff isn't put together with hand tools. Every tool is properly there, but it gets more interesting than that, too. Before being attached to a mid-sized truck, the door sub-assemblies receive electronic components in a window system. The dashboard is installed inside the Ranger with the assistance of arm manipulators, which position it in place. Afterwards, the help from, again, electric wrenches. Workers attach every part of the structure. The body components include the cabin and bed tray are placed over the frame in a process called marriage. Factory workers tighten the brake system as the vehicle moves through the conveyor. Again, we'll look at these pictures in a minute. Okay, here we go. More interesting tidbits. The body of every single Ranger contains around 3,000 to 4,000 spot welds and more than 2,700 parts. Let that sink in there for a second on the parts aspect, okay? 2,700 parts. And Ford has got so many suppliers. Think about all these parts that are made from different suppliers. And all these parts come and shipped in crates and brought there called dunnage. Okay, and then they move this dunnage around there. And parts get pulled from these things and put into assembly. But one truck, just the Ford Ranger, 2,700 parts that have to be put into this thing. There's a lot of places for errors today in vehicles. It's insane when you think about that. I've been in a Packard automotive plant before and looked at some of their things, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the number, we'd have to look it up, but they had laid out every part that made up a Parker, or Packard, sorry, not Parker, but Packard automobile back in the day. And it was literally like 1,000 parts or some very low number, but you could see them all. But it was very simple compared to the vehicles today. That's something to think about. It says once the body is built, the vehicle is sent to the painting process, where the primer and paint coatings are applied. The plant uses approximately 3 liters of primer, 3 liters of base coat, 2 liters of clear coat, and what Ford calls a 3 wet solid paint for each vehicle. So if you ever wondered how much paint goes into painting a car, 3 liters of primer, 3 liters of base, 2 liters of clear coat is actually what's used on the Ranger. Excuse me. The painting process is followed by the paint scanner test. The scanner can detect defects as small as 0.0 or 0.2 square millimeters. That's as small as a needle point. So the scanner is going to go around the vehicle and make sure that the thickness of the paint is the same everywhere. I don't know what they do if it's not, but that's what the scanner is going to do. Ford started the production of the next generation chassis at the new plant Silverton in South Africa in 2022. To build vehicle structure, factory uses press machines to form the metal process of the body. Ranger sits on a T6 platform. We knew that, designed by Ford Australia. It's built on a body-on-frame structure, means the chassis carries the engine, drivetrain, while suspension, brakes, and steering are also mounted to it. Yes, we know that again, but some interesting info in here. A forming limit diagram, which determines high stress areas, is used to predict the behavior of material during the sheet metal forming. An automotive metal sheet known as 20 gauge steel sheet or sheet metal has an average thickness of 0.0359 inches in latest automobiles. So they're talking about the sheet metal that's on it. It's 20 gauge metal. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. Very interesting stuff we're learning here. During the stamping process, sheet metal is placed over a die, which will create the necessary shape. Punch presses the sheet to make the part. We knew that. Typical pressing line exerts a pressure of 8,100 tons. For complex shape, the process often includes multi-stages known as draws. High-strength steel is the main material used by Ford's Ranger. Very good to know. When they talk about draws, that means like if you got to do really complex shapes, they don't do it all in one form. It's going to be hit it and then change it again, and hit it again, and then hit it again. They're going to do different levels of this kind of stuff on there to make that happen. All right, by transferring the chassis manufacturers in-house at the Silverton plant, Ford can monitor and control the quality of the vehicle at every stage of the process. There are two identical production lines that operate in the Silverton plant, manufacturing steel frames with over 1,500 15 different frame derivatives. A Atlas Copco multi-spindle nut runner is used to bolt onto 17 or 18-inch wheels into the vehicle, providing the correct torque. Again, and we might see pictures of this in the pictures we're going to show you, but it's not somebody with like a discount tire taking an impact wrench and zipping it on. It's a huge machine. It comes down like this, and you go, and it's done. It's just all done one time, every single lug nut at once. Again, they've got some really cool tools here, and we might see those when we look at the pictures. There are several engine choices in the Ranger lineup. We already know this. We're not hanging out on that. Here we go. There are more than 380 trained employees whose job it is to make sure the automotive systems throughout the plant operate properly. Okay, these are 380 people that their job is has nothing to do with the cars. It's to make sure that all these tools that are used to build the car actually work. 380 people at one plant to make sure tools don't fail. It's kind of crazy. Once the manufacturing process is complete, all Rangers go through a light tunnel for quality inspection. Okay, and many vehicles do this. Each vehicle undergoes nearly 1,000 quality confirmation checks before it hits the dealership. Ford fails at that miserably. That's their biggest problem here. They suck at this. But it says 1,000 of them. Furthermore, technicians perform 300 electronic diagnostic checks and 35 electrical current-based tests. Okay, now the process also includes a water test. This involves spraying every Ford Ranger with water for 20 minutes to replicate the worst storm imaginable. Once the water jets are turned off, vehicle will be visually inspected to make sure that no water breaches or seals. Everything in the cabin and the load bed is dry. The vehicle goes through the performance test. Even performance tests where handling and driving characteristics are examined by a specialist before they are loaded on a trailer to ship. Well, a couple of things are interesting in this little segment right here, too, that we want to kind of look at. One of the fact is that they said they're producing one of these things up here. It says they can produce every 2 minutes. They can make one of these things every 2 minutes. Okay, a Ford Ranger rolls off the production line every 2 minutes. Yet, on the same note, After they go through they're made every 2 minutes. I wonder how long it takes to go through 1,000 quality confirmation checks, as well as 300 electronic diagnostic checks, 35 electrical current based tests, and a water test that involves 20 minutes, and a driving test where they check the handling and driving characteristics examined by a specialist before they're loaded on a trailer. So these things must come off a production line and then just sit somewhere on massive lots waiting for these tests to be done on them. It's pretty crazy, you know, that they can pump one of these things out every 2 minutes in a plant, but yet all this has to be done to it, and yet that they fail a lot at this stuff is pretty interesting. But so let's look at our pictures real quick here that they got on here. I think, where was it? They got 14 of them. Let's go here to the top. Let's look at these. Click on these and see what we got going on. So here it is, coming down the line. These are just the cabs, and you know, the cab set, no frames. They're ready to be put on, carried in, being carried overhead conveyors, carry them on. They're going to drop them on the frames. Here's assembly workers putting stuff together on here. You can see some of the tooling sitting here. Maybe we'll see some more of that. These are pretty weak pictures. I was hoping for more. Here's spot welding going on, robotic spot welding, end effectors happening. These are the things I used to design when I was an engineer, were all these robotic end effectors and programming them to put all this stuff together. Okay, yeah, these pictures are much weaker than I assumed they were. But see, everything is controlled tools. Here they're using simple screw guns, but all that stuff is torque controlled. You make it where you really can't screw anything up. Everything is designed to be simple, flawless tools. These pictures are pretty disappointing here. I'm not impressed with the pictures one bit. Why did I say frame? Oh, that's what's with the frame on, I'm guessing. Like I said, all right, so pictures are not impressive whatsoever. But the article was fantastic. I enjoyed the article. Hope you did too. Let me know your comments down below. But it gives you some interesting points and stuff and information about trucks being built that I was not aware of. So I really enjoyed it. Hope you did as well. Thanks for watching.